Are we focused? There we go. Maybe, maybe not. Hey everyone, welcome to episode 2 of my vlog series. We're back at Letchworth State Park today, and we are going to be focusing on waterfalls. Well, really how to photograph waterfalls. And you'll find, hopefully, that it's surprisingly easy to achieve some really cool effects using just a tripod and your camera, and you don't really need anything too fancy to make this happen. So let's get to it. Alright, so as far as equipment goes, today I'm using the Canon 6D again, and the 16 to 35 millimeter lens here. And you're also going to want a tripod. You can shoot handheld at a fast shutter speed if you want to freeze the action of the water going over the falls, but if you want to achieve that cool effect of the smooth looking water, then you need to shoot at a slower shutter speed. And to do that, you'll need your camera mounted to a tripod or set up onto something sturdy. If you don't have a tripod, you can always rest your camera on a ledge or bring a sandbag with you. You can put your camera on a sandbag, but the most important thing is you want your camera to be stable throughout the entire exposure, because we're going to be shooting at shutter speeds of at least 1 second to achieve this effect. I'm going to be using a neutral density filter today. And basically, a neutral density filter screws over the lens that you have. Right now I have a UV filter on there just to protect it. So a neutral density filter is going to darken the scene significantly. I'm going to show you in a second what my camera is seeing without a neutral density filter, and then what it's seeing with the neutral density filter on. And it's a pretty drastic change. So let's go try that out real quick. It was actually so dark that I had to increase the ISO so that you could see the effects of what the neutral density filter is doing to the camera. It's allowing a lot less light in there, which means I'm gonna have to expose for several seconds to get a picture that's even bright enough to show up on the screen. And that several second exposure is gonna give us that smooth effect over the waterfalls that we need. But one thing I want to emphasize is you don't have to have a neutral density filter to make this effect happen. On a day like today, where it's really cloudy and not as bright as a day where there would be full sunlight, you can shoot at a very low ISO and stop all the way down to about f/22, and that's going to let a lot less light into the sensor, so you can shoot for longer shutter speeds. Now, my one recommendation, if you're not going to use a neutral density filter, is to shoot really early in the morning, even before the sun comes up, or the same thing after sunset. After the sun goes down, there's going to be enough ambient light, and especially if your camera's on a tripod, you can shoot for several seconds and obtain the same effect without a neutral density filter. These are great if it's the middle of the day, even if there's sun outside, because it's darkening the scene so much. All right, this has been a lot of talk. We're almost ready to shoot. There's one more thing here I want to talk about with my camera before I snap these photos. Now, because we're going to be shooting at long shutter speeds, we don't want the camera to shake at all. So there's a way around this. You can either buy a cable shutter release, which basically sticks into the side of the camera and then you click it with your hand, or just about every camera that I've ever seen has a function of a 2-second shutter delay. So basically, what I'm gonna do is set this delay on my camera so that when I press the shutter, 2 seconds will go by before the picture snaps. And that 2 seconds will give me time to release my hand from the camera and for any camera shake to go away, so that it's absolutely steady during the entire exposure. Because any sort of movement is gonna ruin the picture. Okay, enough of the talking. Now we're gonna start shooting. up here at Upper Falls. I hope you enjoyed coming along with me on this journey. Real quick, let's just go over what we were talking about for any sort of long exposure waterfall photography. Essentials, obviously a camera, but tripod or anything that can stabilize your camera along the way. Again, that could be a sandbag, it can be any sort of ledge. You just need that camera to be very stable during the multi-second exposure, or else you're gonna get image blur and it's gonna look really bad. Another thing you can bring along with you is a neutral density filter if you're planning on shooting in the middle of the day, but you don't need that. It's just gonna make it a little easier on you. Otherwise, you can shoot really early in the morning on a very overcast day like this, or late in the evening after the sun has gone down. That's gonna allow you to shoot for multiple seconds at a time without a neutral density filter. One thing that I forgot to mention that I ran into a couple times as I was making some of these photographs, watch out for your camera strap too. Sometimes when I have it on my tripod, I just take it off altogether because I noticed that the wind would pick up and then the camera strap would get caught up in the wind and move the camera even just very slightly, and that would ruin the picture. But anyways, I hope you enjoyed episode 2. If you did, please subscribe, like the video, share it with your friends. Leave some comments below on any topics you want me to cover in the future, or any locations around upstate New York or New York in general. But thank you so much for watching, and I will see you next time.